So, since it's Hispanic Heritage Month and my birthday is around the corner, I figured why not advertise my books featuring Hispanic characters, which most of the characters in my books are either Hispanic, Native, or both. So, shout out to that. For starters, we have the Visionaries. The main character is a young lady named Alma Hernandez. She's purepecha. She can control like the earth and stuff, and she's a mess. But honestly, in her situation, who wouldn't be? Moving on to the next one, When the Sun Rises, which is basically a woman, and her friends and a bounty hunter that she totally didn't blackmail into helping her. Well, not really blackmail, but basically it was heavy convincing. And helping her avenge her dead husband. Her name is Magdalena Herrera. She's also a mess. But, you know, again, in her situation, it's a little bit justified. And this one actually takes place in, like, the 1890s in a fictionalized version of, like, the Southwest Territories before they became states. Or when they were becoming states, pretty much. I also forgot to mention that Visionaries actually takes place in 2030 something, so yeah. The Runaways features Marisela Langston ni Florentino, who is a young woman who married the leader of a mob and realized that that life was not that glamorous. She ultimately took things into her own hands, and now she is beefing with everybody to try to make sure that she lands on top. And she is actually Lena's daughter, who is actually Magdalena. That's her nickname. So, the adventures of Rosa Ayala are based around a moonshiner and a group of outlaws trying to figure out why an election is rigged and why they are getting chased around for that. Anyway, the main character is Rosalind Rose Ayala, who is the moonshiner in question, and she is also plus size because, you know, rep. And she's also funny. These bad boys are the Diaz Chronicles, and they are actually all based around the main character of Erika Jimenez, who is a young woman who is Mexican. Technically, she's Nahua. She was adopted by a Nahua family as well, and she's also Romani. Anyway, Ascendance is basically the beginning, the first one. They're fighting aliens. Fun. Descendants features werewolves. Illuminescence is actually like a prequel that's in between the books based around one of the main characters. Can't say a lot without spoiling it, but it's extremely short, and honestly, you could probably read this without actually reading the main series. So, Resurgence is based around vampires, ow, and Transcendence is based around like the Fae and shit. Also gods, because why not? Now, Bite is also one, which is another revenge fic. I guess When the Sun Rises and Bite count as revenge fics more than anything. Basically, it's a young woman who is trying to come to terms with the trauma of being essayed, and also she's got cool superpowers, and her and the group of people that she's working with are trying to stop some crazy bitty from trying to murder all the humans. The character is also technically Afro-Latina, so neat, and she's native, so even better. Steel Butterfly is not really one where I would say the character would be Hispanic, but because her native group, Pueblo Originario, are technically located in a fictionalized version of Mexico, we're just gonna pretend, okay? So Steel Butterfly is basically a young woman who is working as an apprentice with a elder hunter. They hunt monsters and shit, and she's basically just trying to learn the craft and trying to survive her shitty dad. The last but not least is Codename Adrenaline. The character is Hispanic. Her name is Ariadne Figueroa. Totally not based on my real last name. Not a self-insert, though. basically her and her friends have superpowers. They've never really been able to figure out why, because everyone else, save for a group of televised heroes, does. And basically they realized throughout this whole thing that they bit off way more than they can chew when it came to investigating. This is what I like to call an initial draft. So the writing's a little bit bigger than on my other books, but yeah, I'm just gonna keep it like that. This is actually part of a trilogy. I'm working on the second book as we speak. So there's that. I'm also working on one that will be based in Mexico and be based around Aztec gods, but I don't have a release date for either of those yet. So there you go. And you can find all these books on Amazon on the link below.